Welcome to another episode of On Call with Dr. Jason Golbin. I am super excited today. I feel like I say that every time, but I truly am super excited today. We have an amazing guest. Sitting next to me is Dr. Nirvani Goolsarran. She has a couple of titles here at Catholic Health. First and foremost, at Mercy Hospital, she's the Chief Quality Officer and the Chair of Medicine. And now she has a part-time gig, is how I like to call it, as the Vice President for Capacity Management. And then you're going to say, what is capacity management? We'll talk about that. But the Vice President of Capacity Management at Catholic Health. So welcome, Nirvani. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I appreciate it.
We've been talking about this forever. All right, so let's start at the beginning. You know, how'd you get into medicine? What are you doing at Catholic Health? Give us a story, and I'll just give the audience a secret. I recruited her. So
that is true.
I take a piece of the credit with Sean Ahmed.
That is true. That is very, very true. So it's been 3 years, actually, in October.
That's crazy.
3 years, one of the best decisions I've ever made. So thank you. So why I got into medicine? So most people are surprised, but I grew up in South America, Guyana.
That's right. I always forget that.
Yeah.
Right.
So most people think I'm East Indian, but I'm actually West Indian. So Indian descent, Caribbean culture. A lot of fun, but growing up there has really had a profound impact on me. There's no access to care, really. So, you walk around the villages with goiters this big, large legs, elephantiasis, and you grow up with a sense of like disfigurement and lots of, medical issues, diseases plaguing the villages. So
wait, did you split your time or were you there?
No, I grew up there, and that's where my interest in the sciences really started, doing medicine. Came here with my parents' family. I was 11.
Okay.
I was pretty young, and loved the sciences, loved medicine, but couldn't commit all the way. So I went to PA school. I was actually a physician assistant.
Right. Forget this amazing story.
Great profession for all the PAs out there.
Yeah, that's right.
I was 20 years old, making about $100K. It was great. It was great, less liability.
That's right.
It was fantastic, but the drive was always there to do more. So fast forward, went to medical school.
Where'd you go to med school?
I went to Ross University in the Caribbean because it was accelerated standings for PA, so yay.
Oh, that's it. So you cut
That's
out
right.
a year off?
Cut out about a good 18 months.
Wow. Okay.
So,
Because you already had all the basic sciences.
Exactly.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I knew I wanted to do medicine. Came back home to New York, grew up in Queens, matched at Stony Brook, and trained there, did a chief resident year there, and stayed there for 12 years.
Yeah.
And that's the story.
Amazing. And then you applied to a job at Mercy.
I did. So, interesting in my career, I sort of hit this crossroad between GME and administration. And, GME is very, very good. It focuses a lot on residency education, clinical medicine, but there was a lot of operations I felt the need to get involved in.
You had multiple titles.
I had multiple titles, yeah. I did a lot of quality there, some operations, and mostly teaching. And I really couldn't, merge it together. So I decided to take administration as my next step, doing clinical medicine, hospital operation, hence my multiple titles. And it's been great so far. So what I do now as the quality officer, as you know, is charge quality, which is really my passion. That's always been my passion from the time I started in medicine. So,
that's amazing. The quality is not just, this tiny little topic. I'm the quality person. Quality ultimately touches everything we do, including these days a ton of patient experience, right?
Yes, a ton. I think quality is really the secret sauce, to everything we do. I always say experience is quality. If you don't have the right patient experience, then you're not truly giving high quality patient care. So patient experience, staff experience, near and dear to my heart. That's how we move the needle on quality. And that's what I spend most of my time doing, is really engaging people. And if we engage them and get them to do the right things, I get my quality metrics all in the right direction.
I love it. Reminds me of what Joe Manapella coined last year as the year of engagement. It makes me wonder who actually came up with year of engagement. Maybe it was actually Nirvani and coming out of Joe's mouth.
That's our secret.
No. And look, we always say it's you can't have PX, patient experience, without EX, employee experience or employee engagement.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly where we were going with the year of engagement. I think we have really difficult jobs, right? Our our caregivers face a lot of burnout. So we wanted to coin a year of engagement, and the goal was to make them feel joy coming to work. I mean, that's really powerful. Like, how do you get your team members to feel joy when they walk into the door? So we did a few things, and I think that's why we won the project, is, red carpet entrance, coming in the door, cheering them on.
I picture
right?
Joe giving out candy at the door, right? I mean,
Yes.
but I still remember that. That was 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. So Joe had this great idea of, cheering people on, telling them we appreciate you, thank you for all you do as you come into the door. That was a huge hit. Then we did a number of events, one of which was very powerful, Leapfrog breakfast. And Leapfrog is our hospital safety rating. So how do you get the janitor and the engineer to see that they make a difference in the safety rating of the hospital?
Bingo.
Very powerful. So we did that. We had breakfast with them. We actually had a lot of gamification. We love gamification, using game design techniques. Jeopardy.
I can picture Jeopardy.
Right.
It spread through the system too now.
Correct. And we've shared our ideas, but the idea is really not passive learning, right? Who wants to sit in a room and learn about how to talk about patient experience? So we played a game, and it was skills-based, right? So you can get up, demo, act, and in a safe space. So it's a lot of fun. It's very engaging, and we're comfortable giving each other feedback. And we would act in it ourselves. So gamification, became a big thing, and that's how we did a lot of our engagement activities, a lot of series of events that we planted throughout the year with series of activity to really engage our staff. And that alone in itself boost our engagement, hence boost our patient experience, and as I always say, boost our quality.
I love that. Yeah. I'm not sure, frankly, that I ever put all that together, that there was so much thought put into the gamification. I just said, there's Mercy, they're playing Jeopardy again. But I don't think I ever made that connection. That's really, really, really impressive. That's not how you teach the medical students, though, is it? No, they still got to learn the old way.
Yeah, but there's a lot of now science to gamification. But just to clarify, it's modified Mercy Jeopardy, or modified Catholic Jeopardy.
That's right.
So
it's Mercy Jeopardy.
So there's
everybody's
judges.
Got their own Jeopardy.
Right.
Yes,
so there's judges, right? You come up and you do the behaviors, and may the best win.
Yeah, I love
so we have different families or different teams compete, and we pick the winning team, and the winning team demonstrates the most empathy, and that's what we want to see.
I love it. I mean, there's so many. I could spend the next 20 minutes on this just for our listeners. When we first worked out our patient experience program, we realized that we hadn't, as an organization, this goes back to 2017, said what behaviors are expected of you as an employee or as a doctor at Catholic Health, and then we standardized that, and I appreciate you focusing on that. And then the missing skill for so many caregivers nationally or probably internationally is empathy. It's hard, right? It's not sympathy. Yeah. I tell the story all the time when I teach the program about how, I've probably told the story on here before, as a pulmonologist, I always thought I was so empathetic because I would know somebody has lung cancer diagnosed. We made the diagnosis, and before they got in the room, I would have the surgeon lined up, the oncologist lined up, the appointment made, every PET scan everything was ordered. And I would say, I'm sorry you have cancer, but I did all this stuff. And I would go on, and then I didn't realize, actually, until we started learning it and teaching it, that they were still on, I have what? I didn't recognize their emotion. I didn't pause. So I was in the sympathy action mode. We like to do stuff, right, as doctors. But it's amazing. And I think you guys have made the fact that that's the focus.
Right.
And the goal just speaks to the amazing work you've done. So now you did all this work, this game, it's not just gamification, year of engagement and PX and EX and quality. And it manifested itself in an amazing way. You being you, Nirvani, but you, Mercy Hospital, our star, in Rockville Center, have won what we call our Pinnacle Award, which is our most important award of the organization. Every year it's for quality, safety, and experience. And we have, 30 plus, we almost had 40 projects this year submitted, which represent a year plus of work, all very evidence-based with data and outcomes. And Mercy came on top 2 years in a row. We've never had that before. Talk to me how that happened.
So first, I would say this is my favorite event of anything I've seen at Catholic Health. It's remarkable.
I can't take the credit. It's an O'Shaughnessy special, you know.
Dr. O, great work.
Yes.
But they were all great projects for every hospital site. You know, to go back into what you're saying, why we won the second project is really we hit the core of patient experience again in a different way related to engagement, right? So what you describe is a little bit transactional. We get the job done, we get the CAT scan, but for physicians specifically, we focused on how do you teach physicians patient experience skills specific to them.
Don't you naturally have? I'm going to.
That's it.
Don't you naturally have that as a doctor? Don't we learn that in medical school? And of course, the answer is not at all.
Exactly. Well, doctors believe that, right? Doctors are very highly trained. They're some of the most intelligent people, and they really feel that they've got the skills, and most of them do. But how do you fine tune it? So we actually put them in a room. It's a very interesting experience, and we would demo, and this was our simulation. Myself and my hospital's director would demonstrate a scenario that was good. It was good. It was maybe an 8 or 7 out of 10. It was exactly what you said. We had good clinical acumen. We did everything we needed to do. But we were okay on the empathy. We did the sympathy part. And we asked our doctors, how would you rate us? We gave them 1 through 10 on cards. 10, 10.
Oh, really?
10.
Okay.
So then we repeat the scenario and we bring empathy to the core. We bring in the family members. Let's FaceTime your family. Let's make personal connection. We took it a whole different level. They didn't have any 10s to raise. It was jaw-dropping. They're like, wow. So initially what they ranked us was a 10.
That was their initial perception.
That was their initial perception. Exactly.
Then you showed them what really is a 10.
And that was a powerful project. And we tailored it to the physician-specific encounter. You might have patient experience education that's really valuable for everybody. But a physician, I think we face different challenges from patients not having enough pain medications. They're upset, and we have to balance the risks and the benefit. Patients may not feel that they're ready to go home, but it's actually good for them to go home. Yeah. These are very difficult scenarios, conflicting physician recommendation. So we really challenge the team to take it to the next level. And it goes back again to experience, engaging them, and raising the bar on quality. And I think, all the projects were great, but we did some unique aspect, unique methodology, hasn't been tested before, simulations, gamification, and we had really strong results over time.
Bingo. So much of what we do in any environment doesn't just have to be healthcare, right? We can have great processes, we can have great policies, but if you don't get the outcomes at the end of the day, you're really not where you need to be. And that was my real take home on your project. You did all this amazing work, and we see, like you said, we had I think it was 39 amazing projects, but the outcomes, the deliverables, what were the end of the day results? You had turned the patient's perception, right, as ranked by our patient experience scores, but they skyrocketed for the physicians. You just think that the docs, everybody scores them well, and they don't. They actually do pretty poorly sometimes. And you really turn that around.
Yeah. I mean, I love data science. It's my background. Yeah. I love anything related to methodology and how we measure. When you do quality, it's all about how you measure, right? We can't know how we're doing or if we're successful in measuring. So that's my background. I have a lot of fun with it. So I love measuring. I measure everything. My life is a QI project.
You bake? I don't bake, but I understand baking is all like, you have to, it's like a quarter of a teaspoon and
very precise.
Very precise, right? It's like a science almost, because it's like a chemical reaction. That's my only, that's my thought as you talk about the details.
I don't bake, but we could do good QI projects.
Yeah, right. I don't bake either. That's all right. We'll go out for a burger. That's my baking. All right. So amazing work at Mercy, but in your role as the quality officer for the building, and after being a doctor for so many years, really having quality roles, what's the future of quality in healthcare? What's the future of safety? Where are we going?
Yeah, I think that's a really tough,
right?
tough loaded question, but we could we could dive into it. I think, first of all, I love my job because the best thing I can do is walk into the building and say, how do I keep the patients safe today, right? That's the job of a quality officer. And what is it that I need to do to enhance the quality of care we give our patients? And that's so huge. But I think the future really focuses on going back to data science, back to measuring. What can we measure, right? Keeping our patients safe. Patient safety is a behavior. It's hard for it to be tangible, right? How do I measure that the team right now, they're doing the right thing for the patient? So I think, when we look at the future of quality, we have to look at our measures, what we're measuring, how we're measuring, and are we improving it, right? Like Catholic Health has some of the best number. That was initially why I was attracted to the program, is really looking at our harm events and what we do. We look at things like our rapid response, how we rescue our patients. So it becomes more and more challenging to measure as we have more technology, as you know, more artificial intelligence, more data. So it becomes more challenging to measure. And now I think we're drowning in data, if you ask me. So
But it has to be actionable.
that's it. How do you take that data, analyze it, mobilize it, and slice it into the workflow? That's the tough part. And I think that's a challenge we're facing with safety and quality. The more we measure it, the better it is. But the more we figure out how to measure it and turn that data into action, I think that's when we truly succeed.
Well said. I know for us as an organization, we tend to focus on the measures that the government, plus or minus through CMS, has made us accountable to. But I recognize and appreciate that we do have a ton of data. If anything, we have a lot more beyond that, and I think we're starting to have the ability to, as you said, did you say mobilize?
Yes.
Well, I love that. Mobilize the data, and then you need to have the action to respond to it. We have the electronic record, Epic,
Yes.
can give us early warnings
Absolutely.
about events, but we have to be able to see that data, analyze that data, right, like real time, and then just send the team out to handle that.
That's it. And we do use that. It's the deterioration index. So how do we use that data that exists in the system that would risk stratify the patient and build it into the workflow? So we're proactively rounding and we're looking at that patient. We're getting them before something bad happens.
Yeah,
So,
I remember
yeah.
a few years ago, we had our ICU teams round on all patients there for a day or two after they left the ICU, because we know there's a high risk of bounce back nationally, as in the ICU literature. But it was very imprecise, and then you end up rounding on more people than you need. But if you're able to use, I'm just thinking out loud actually while we talk about it. If you're able to use that data and say, these 5 people, those are the ones I'd rather you spend double the time with these 5 people, and you don't have to see these 4 people.
Right. That's the idea, is you take the data, you contextualize it, you figure out what your priorities are. It's more efficient.
I love it. That's amazing. All right, so let me take that and take it to the next level. Looking at data science, you have a new role here at Catholic Health.
Yes.
Nothing new to what you've been doing for the past, decade. But we focus on length of stay in hospitals, right? We want people to stay just the right time, Goldilocks, right? We don't want them to stay too short that they come back. We don't want them to stay too long that they overstay their welcome, so to speak, and something happens in the hospital. And we need to move people through the system. I think more and more we've recognized that length of stay is a function of capacity in the hospital. Really, it's like a hotel. And you have our new title of the first ever Vice President for Capacity Management at Catholic Health. So let's talk about, what are you doing? What does that mean?
Sure.
And how is that going to help the health system?
Sure. So when people hear the word capacity management, you tend to think resources, movement, which is true. But I'm going to go back to quality. I'll tell you, how we got, for example, Marcy from a safety rating to an A. The secret sauce to quality is controlling flow, right? The more we control the patient flow, the higher the quality the patient is, right? That's the quality you get. So what I've learned in my experience is really getting the throughput or the movement, getting it absolutely right, keeping them for the exact amount of time they're supposed to stay, you get the best quality. When you look at some of the hospital harm events, it tends to occur in patients who are staying for a long time. They get pressure injuries, they get infection. So it all ties back to quality and managing capacity. So capacity management is a big thing, right? It's evolved into an area of its own scope,
It's like its own data science, right?
its own sets, and that goes back to just I think the financial crisis hospitals face in general, and a large part of that is related to excess days that reimbursement don't keep up with. So I got initially interested in that area for many reasons. One, I think you can deliver better quality of care to patients by controlling your flow and your hospital surge, hands down, right?
Hospital surge meaning, a lot of people show up to the emergency room between
Exactly.
6 and 11 p.m. as opposed to,
Right.
2 and 8 in the morning.
Right. And the definition is giving the right care at the right time in the right place, right? So to me,
Sad.
that's the mission, right? And we can't get to high quality of care unless we really control how long the patient waits outside, how long they wait in the emergency department, that's the border, and when they get up there, and then when we get them out. So I've always been passionate about that area because I think it goes hand in hand with quality. So I love it. So the program really, we're building it to have the processes in place. I mean, imagine taking the time the patient walks into the door to out the door, and we're slicing it into different processes. And then we're figuring out what's the bottleneck that we need to work on. And we're working on that across the 6 hospitals to give the patient the best outcome so they get out of the door again at the right time.
It's kind of just like you said, it's the quality, right? If you have an issue, you take the event and you slice it and you find out where the holes in the Swiss cheese are, and then you work to close the holes in the Swiss cheese, essentially.
Exactly. And more complex than that is really figuring out how we measure it, right? How we measure the physician's ability to really charge length of stay, that observed time over expected time, how we measure how long the care management teams may take to get a facility for the patient. So it's figuring out the right measures and the right process. It's just way more complex, but something that's absolutely needed. And I think, Jay, it's just going to get worse with aging population, right? We have more complex patients needing complex care, right? Mm-hmm. More patients each year going to facilities. So we're having more bottlenecks and more surges, right? Which is, that fall period coming up soon when, patients are needing care and they don't have access, whether that's their primary care, urgent care center, and they're seeking our care. So the goal is to get the patients in the door and give them the care they need so we save lives.
Oh, I love it. That's amazing. You can't do it without IT's help, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, IT is sure. I think the impact of technology in healthcare is ever more potent every day, right? I mean, we can't do this without them literally by our side. I know you have a good handle on working with them. You developed out dashboards with them and really driving a lot of this, again, the data science behind the throughput.
Exactly. And you're right. We cannot do it without our Catholic Health DTS team. Shout out to them. So, yes, to your point, we need predictive analytics. We need to be able to forecast. Example of how we would apply the program is on a Monday morning, I could predict my number of admissions, patient coming in the hospital, my number of patients going home, right? And how do I get to the right capacity from a Monday to that Friday before the weekend starts again? So it's looking at the data and forecast what are the resources you need, right? You may need resources related to equipment, MRI, CAT scan, and you may need to optimize those efficiency models. So the program, hand in hand with DTS, helps us to see the data. We actually get to see our avoidable delays, as it's called in the EMR. We get to see who's medically ready. We get to see who has orders ready. And we get to see our post-acute care barriers. So the data science is really helpful. So we take that, sort of churn it all, ingest it, and figure out
actionable data.
capacity plan,
That's
you
right.
know, that we need to do. It's very powerful. The
And
data is powerful.
just like what we talked about with safety. It's really the
Yeah.
analogies are tremendous. All right, I'm going to pivot again. You're busy with quality. You're busy with throughput. You must have some downtime. What do you do for fun? What does Nirvani go home and say? What a day! I'm gonna go do X.
So with 3 titles, not a lot of time, but I try. I try. I think about QI when I go home, though. You know, I love cooking. It relaxes
But
me.
not baking.
Not baking.
Not baking,
A little
cooking.
too much thinking there.
Cooking,
So,
cooking. What kind of food?
enjoy cooking. So again, going back to my Caribbean
Yeah,
descent,
right.
I love exploring with different spices, cooking. It relaxes me. I like to put on some music and cook. Physical activity, you know, when you're in your 40s, you know.
I don't know. I don't remember them anymore. You know.
So I love biking. I look for any opportunities to go outside and do a bike ride. As it gets colder, Peloton or whatever cycling I could do.
You're a Peloton
But I
person,
think, but
yeah.
I am big.
Who do you
big
love in
fan,
Peloton?
Big fan. No, I do my own bike rides with my own homegrown videos, my own apps, my own podcast. But just the bike itself, it's a great equipment.
awesome.
So balancing wellness, I love wellness. Any of my free time, you'll find me at a spa, a good spa.
Oh, I love it.
So cooking, biking, wellness, family time, it's
perfect.
all important.
It
But
sounds amazing.
yeah,
Sounds amazing.
yeah, we all need it. We all need it.
Well said. All right, last question, and then I'll let you get back to your throughput. Since you were and still are an educator for our young students, if you had to give one piece of advice to whether it's a future medical student, a resident, you know, what's that one kind of pearl that you've taken with you that you every time you have somebody you say, by the way, let me share this with you.
Yeah, that's a good question. So remember, I was in an educator role.
Yeah, I know you were the
for 12 years,
yeah.
and I loved it. But I did hit, you know, a big challenge, which is you teach, you know, our students and residents, and they learn good medicine, the diagnostic wins and the strong clinical acumen. But do they really learn clinical operations, the stuff we face, like the quality metrics we're held accountable for, how we get paid? So I always struggled a little bit with the operations side and, you know, giving them that tool to really enable them to practice, like patient experience. You know, my new hospice, I sit with them talking about
Just out of
patient
residency,
experience.
and
They're
then
like,
say,
what?
What? Right.
What about the great save I did this morning, right? So my message is really you have 2 jobs as a doctor or a clinician. You take care of the patient, but you take care of the system, right? It's fixing the system, making sure that our patients can trust us. So that means doing system level quality improvement, looking at the data and looking at how we improve care to the patients we give in the system in which we function in. So you've got 2 jobs, right? You have to take care of the patient, you diagnose the patient, you get the right treatment plan, but you look around at what's happening in the care delivery model, in value-based care and quality improvement, process improvement. How do you insert the work of the physician into that to make the care better? I think that, to me, if you blend those 2, you win, and that's how you go into medicine.
I love it. They're going to hire you at ACGME and put you to work training all residents around the nation. Well, you're doing incredible stuff. We are so lucky to have you here at Catholic Health. I expect Mercy to stay, you know, way up top.
No pressure.
No pressure, no pressure. And by the way, fix throughput while you're on it.
Right.
But again, really, it's an honor to have you, and thank you for taking the time to sit with me today.
Of course, and thank you for having me.
great.
Great seeing you.